What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Moose Milk Podcast. This is episode 85. 85. I'm your host, Ryan. This is Finnegan. Gonna wait for at Custom by Matthew to join us, but I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a great week. It's, guess, technically Thanksgiving here in Canada, kind of. So happy Thanksgiving to all you Canadians. I hate Thanksgiving, but you know, that's mostly because I've been in retail for 20 plus years. But, yeah. We're going to talk Andor. We're going to talk She-Hulk. We're going to talk Werewolf by Night. And I'm sure a bunch of other things. Here is Matthew. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Oh, you know, it's just one of those days, you know?
Just one of those days, hey?
Where everything's fucked. Everybody
And
sucks.
everything sucks?
You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off.
I understand.
Just pissing me off. Everything's pissing me off today. So it's just, you know, what can you do?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay.
I'm gonna change phones because this phone's giving me grief already. So
All right.
I'm gonna come right back.
All right, I like it.
Okay, bye.
But, well, that was the end of Moose Milk Podcast. No, just kidding. We'll wait for Matt to rejoin us. But, yeah, if you haven't already, follow us, please, at Moose Milk Media, Customs by Matthew. We're trying to get us up to 200 followers on Moose Milk Media before we hit the 2-year mark. So anybody that's not already following me, please do that. Obviously, go over to Matt, follow him as well. Go to his YouTube channel, follow that. He's doing some great Whip Wednesdays. And I'll be guesting there at some time in November, so that's pretty exciting. But, yeah. So we're going to talk those stuff tonight. It's also, I posted a bunch of videos over the last, day and a half of my kind of review thoughts on The Mole, the new Netflix series. So if you haven't already, go by my Instagram page and check my timeline out. I did the first 4 recaps for the first 4 episodes. For some reason, the 5th one will not post. I don't know if I don't know what's going on with Instagram. It's not liking me today. That's part of the reason why I've been in such a shitty mood. So, yeah. So the 5th episode recap will go up out sometime tomorrow, I guess, when it will let me post. Here's Matt again. There he is.
Hopefully this will work better.
All right. I mean, maybe you just need to switch off of AOL Canada.
AOL can. Yep, I AOL. What can I say?
Yeah, that 56K dial-up, man. It's not going to work for you in 2022.
It's true. Hey, I just saw something on Instagram. Did you see that Blink deleted their whole Instagram and it just says Blink 182 crappy punk rock since 1993 or 92 or whatever? And they took all the pictures off. They got rid of all of the members. There's rumors that Tom's joining again, and they're supposed to do a world tour next year, apparently.
Well, there's rumors that all 4 are going to be in the band, and they're going to do a 4-piece now.
That would be sick.
I think that would be their best solution. I think
you'd get the best Blink out of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, as I don't know what their relationship is with each other. Now, if there's any kind of bad blood between anybody left or whatever. But Tom can't sing live. I'm sorry, but it's just he cannot sing. So he be part of the band. He can write. He can play. But just don't let him sing anymore. Or if he's singing, make it part of
he will sing. So that.
Yeah, but harmonize it that way then, so it doesn't sound as bad.
Yeah. Well, the thing I liked about Matt was that he never wanted to play the same set list all. I know there was a lot. They were pulling out a lot of old hits that they hadn't played in decades when Matt joined, right? And he was wanting to play stuff from Dude Ranch and more punk stuff, pre-pop punk.
Yeah.
I guess it was always pop punk, but you know what
I mean. 100% honest, I'll probably never see them live again.
You're over
I'm
it.
not going to spend the money they require. They're going to
Yep.
play all their singles. I don't want to hear any of their singles ever.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's probably going to be expensive. Like, I wanted to go see Depeche Mode, right? Because Depeche Mode announced basically their final tour. They're only hitting 2 dates in Canada, and like tickets were like $300 a piece. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not happening. I'm not spending $300 a ticket.
Yeah. I
So,
bought Kate Lizzo tickets, and they were like, I think for 2 it was like just under $500. It was really
see, like I'm not going to spend that kind of money on any musician. It could be my favorite band in the world. I'm not spending $500 on tickets. It's just not happening.
Yeah, that's fair.
So like
That's
if Blink comes out, they're like, hey, we're going to do a tour. It's $200 a ticket. I'd be like, you can go fist yourself. Like, that's not happening.
And fist yourself over to Vancouver, BC, where Matt will be happy to bend over and.
Like, I'm sorry, but you're millionaires. You don't need that kind of money.
Yeah, they also went 2 years without having an avenue to make money either, right? But
I agree, but most bands don't. I mean, especially Blink. Blink doesn't need the money. Sorry, but
yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, but also you can't expect them to just tour for whatever.
no, but just make it reasonable. $100, fair.
I guess, but I would go if Blink comes around. I'm definitely seeing them for sure. So
Yeah.
I really was hoping that I get a chance to see them, especially with that scare with Mark last year. It's just like, oh man, I really hope
Totally.
to see them one more time.
I get that for sure, and like obviously, best wishes to the band and Mark and everybody. Like, I don't wish any ill will on them. I just
Yeah. No,
they're not. I've seen them twice. They're not good enough live for me to like really go, oh fuck, that's a show I got to see. Like,
yeah, it's a little bit different because for me, they're literally like shaped the person I am. So it's like,
yeah, no, I mean they were my favorite band for 10,
Long time.
15 years, so I get it, but just they're not that anymore. I mean, they haven't put a good album out in 15 years, so
agree to
that's the way it
disagree.
is. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I haven't really liked them since self-titled, so
We can't really talk about Handmaids because I didn't get to it this week, so
that's fine.
I'll have to catch up on that next week.
Like I said, it's not something we got to talk about every week, but it was a good episode.
Was it?
Yep.
Nice. I'm excited. I don't know when I'll get to it because I think Kate's going to go to her parents again this week. So.
Yeah, it ends on quite the cliffhanger. So.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Maybe we should try to get to it. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. What else did you watch? Because I watched fucking so much shit.
I didn't watch much this week. I had a shitty week, so I
Me too.
I didn't get to really that much. I watched my usual YouTube shows. What else did I watch? I watched Werewolf by Night. I watched all the shit we're going to talk about, and then I honestly think that's it. I don't think I watched anything else this week. Or if I did, it's not kicking me in the ass and being like, hey, you should... Oh, I guess I kind of watched more of that, The Toys That Made Us, but it was kind of just in the background, so... I rewatched the Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, and the wrestling one.
Nice.
So.
Did you check out The Mole at all?
I did not, but I watched your videos today, though.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. That's a good idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's they're quick. They're only like 10 to 15 minutes each, so it's not too bad. But I'd like to do more of that, but it's hard to, I don't know, like, get that compelling to people that don't watch reality television, right? I mean, it's such a niche audience, so.
Well, it really just feeds a certain audience. Like, if you're not watching The Mole, it's probably not overly exciting.
Useful to you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of watched it so I could see what you were doing, and then I just basically just criticized you. No, okay. No.
God, he's hideous. Look at him.
Look at this. No, it's a cool idea. It's a cool idea, though. But yeah, I didn't.
I like it. I think it's really good. I recommend it. People that don't know what I'm talking about, The Mole was a hit reality series in like early 2000s. It only lasted a few seasons. It was hosted by Anderson Cooper from CNN. And then it went off the air, and basic concept is a group of people do challenges, but one person within them is the mole who's working for the network that basically tries to sabotage the mission so they don't earn any money. And at the end of each episode, you do a test, basically, that you have to answer who is the mole through multiple questions. And the worse you do on the test means you're eliminated. If like the worst person on the test gets eliminated, So it's all basic up to you. Your knowledge, you can sabotage, you can pretend to be the mole, you don't have to be the mole, you know. So there's a lot of game theory going on. It's a really cool series. So the first 5 episodes dropped on Netflix on Friday. I did 4 little kind of reviews of each episode so far, and then a 5th one that I'll post sometime tomorrow. But it won't
It's more
post
than
for something.
reviews. That's what's cool about it. Is it's not really like it's a
Like a
review.
recap.
You're basically talking about like who you think is the mole and like why you think they're the mole.
Detective.
It's cool. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a nerd. What can I say?
I got this shirt this week. Finally, it finally showed up.
Oh, I saw you. Yeah, it's nice. I like it. You had that one, and is that that's the same one you had on
Wednesday.
Yeah. I watched your Wednesday.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, I watched like the first hour, I think, or 45 minutes.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, Wednesday was a good one. We had a good one on Wednesday.
Yeah.
What else did you watch this week other than The Mole and what we're going to talk about?
I watched Scream 5 because I was in the mood for horror.
That's the newest one, right?
Yeah. Scream 6 comes out like early next year. Like they're really turning around real quick.
Yeah, that's cool. Scream 5 was pretty good, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's not my favorite one by any means.
No.
It'll always be the first one will always be my favorite, but
I feel like that's going to be a hard one to top.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Then I watched X-Men 1 and X-Men 2.
Oh, nice.
Those do not hold up at all.
No, they sure don't.
X2, like especially, like X2 was always my favorite one, and then rewatching it, I was like, ooh, this dated as fuck.
I didn't mind X2 initially. That was one of the ones that I was like, I didn't like X-Men 1 when it came out. X-Men 2. Oh, great.
You're right.
This is what we're going to deal with tonight.
It's all good, buddy.
All right, good.
Yeah,
I like
just doesn't hold up.
Days of Future Past is good though. That one held up.
I liked what's X-Men. What is the fucking first one before Days of Future Past?
Oh, First Class.
First Class. I like First Class and I like Days of Future Past, but I haven't watched them recently. So
yeah, I First Class was okay. I guess I don't know.
I like it better than Days of Future
sour. I've always been sour about those movies.
Why?
They just never hit me.
I like First Class a lot. Like after X3, I was like, yeah, give me First Class 10 times over X3. Like X3 is abysmal. So.
Oh yeah, I was happy when they stepped away from that.
Yeah.
Group, but I mean, I'm not a fan of Jennifer Lawrence at all.
Yeah, I don't know why, but fair.
Just I hate her. Like, oh, I don't want to be blue. Well, then don't play Mystique, you dumb idiot. Like, if you don't want to be painted blue, then you probably should pick a mutant that's not a blue mutant.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that, but I also see the side of like, yeah, I don't want to sit in a chair for 11 hours and get painted.
No, I understand that, but it's just like, it's just annoying because it's just like.
Yeah, no, I mean, cast a different actress then that is more interested in actually committing to the part. I get that. But you need big names for a movie to be sold, you know?
Yep. So.
I don't know. I see both sides of it, but so anyway, I watched those. Then obviously She-Hulk, Andor, and Handmaid's Tale, Werewolf by Night, and they released another, well, not another, but like a different take on Jeffrey Dahmer on Netflix. It's not the one we were talking about. It's more of a documentary. It's called Conversations with a Killer. It's actually his interview after he got arrested, like the legit tapes of it.
Oh, crazy.
3 episodes of that on Netflix. So I watched that.
Is it a weekly thing or is it just 3 episodes?
No, it's done. It's just a standalone 3-episode thing.
Gotcha.
So if you watched like the whatever you want to call it, like the dramatized 10-episode thing they put out a couple weeks ago, it's like a companion piece to that just goes into a little more depth of like him talking about it. But
gotcha.
Yeah. So other than that was pretty much it. I mean, it was a lot. I watched a lot. What can I say?
A lot. Yeah. We should dive into some shows.
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
We should start with Andor since it was first.
Sure. I thought it was the worst episode of the season.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was really slow and really boring.
Huh. I didn't find it that slow. I was pretty disappointed that we left going into battle. I was like, I was kind of hoping we were going to get into battle, but
I mean, I'm excited for next week. Like, I set up next week wonderfully, but I thought it was such a slow episode.
I find that the most of them are slow, but I find them still compelling because I feel like they're still building towards something. So, but maybe it's just because there's no real change of scenery for them this time. It was just like we're there getting ready to. It's like a lot of dialogue, right? It was pretty dialogue heavy episode, but it should mean that the next episode is going to be pretty awesome. So
that's what I'm hoping for. But I just thought it was pretty slow and boring. I definitely was not into the episode at all. Like, I kept looking at my phone. I was just like, all right, this is so boring and slow. I think it's well acted. I think it's well shot. Like, I like everything about it that's going on. I just thought like this episode by far just did not keep my attention at all.
Yeah, I guess comparatively, like I said, we kind of stayed put this episode. Like, there wasn't really a lot happening. It was more like, the preparation leading up to, where we're going here, right? But
I agree
with the nerdy dude and his mom. It's like a weird fucking
thing. I don't know. Like, I didn't really get either. I was like, this isn't like interesting at all. Like, I don't know.
I just don't understand what I find. I'm having such a hard time nailing down that character, and it's like I don't understand what they're trying to show. Like, I don't know if they're because initially he seemed so like I don't want to say scary, but like just like he knew what he wanted and he was very passionate about what he wanted and nothing was going to stop him. And now he's like this weird.
He's like a whiny little
mama's
bitch
boy, not really a mama's boy, but it's like a disappointed.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just like
he's like. It reminds me of like Psycho or something. Like, he's obsessed with his mom, but she's like demeaning to him, and like I don't know. He has some kind of weird. I mean, I assume they're building towards something, but I found it a very like strange segment of this episode too.
It's definitely weird. It's definitely weird.
But I like the dynamic between like the team and like them questioning, Andor's motives and everything because he's doing it for money, but he's, I don't know, not trustworthy to them because of that.
It feels like everybody else doesn't really know what they're doing. Also kind of makes me feel like maybe they're being set up because I feel like
somebody in that group is going to sabotage it.
I kind of feel like they don't know what they're expecting. Like, even when he's like, you don't even know. Like, what was he talking about? Like, getting it off
piloting the transport or whatever. They're like, how do you do? I can't remember what it was specifically. Like, how do you do that? And then he's like,
something about like the speed you have to get up to or something to like.
Right. Or to climb I don't know, whatever it was. But I have a feeling the mission's going to fail.
I also have a feeling the mission's going to fail.
And I think most of this team's going to get killed.
I heard an interesting theory on that would suck because there's some cool characters in there. I like that guy who has that tattoo, the guy that's standing outside with his shirt off when he has that long conversation about the whole crew there.
Yep.
I can't remember his name now, but
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He looks familiar. He looks like somebody that was in Hot Shots Part 2 way back in the day.
Haven't seen that movie since 1995.
Topper Harley. It kicks the llama's ass.
I like the team dynamic, and I do like everybody within the team, but I definitely think somebody within the team's working for the Empire, and it's definitely like a traitor, and he's going to fuck them.
Yeah. I heard an interesting theory on the Boba Squadron that's like toying around and, a bunch of those guys. And they're talking about Luthen potentially being a Jedi. And I was like, I could kind of see that.
It'd be interesting, but I also kind of hope there is no Jedi stuff in this at all.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, it's just like one of the things they said where he's like, remember when he was on the plane, I think, with him at the end of the second or the beginning of the third episode when Andor was with him, and he's like, you can take my gun and try to kill me. It's like,
or maybe he has some, force ability or something, and not necessarily a Jedi. But
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I like how like he's kind of playing like double-sided, like he's working in that store and he's kind of two-sided, and then so is
Mon
Mon Mothma, and like her whole family kind of hates her, and she's kind of, I don't know, playing double-sided there, and like I find that all very interesting. But yeah, overall, I just thought the episode was pretty slow and didn't really move enough narratively that I was like, oh, like this is compelling. Like I'm just ready for next week's episode.
I feel like there's a lot of like underarching like story of loss with the Rebel piece. That's like, like with Mon Mothma, like she's dedicating all this effort to try to like basically protect her family, and they see this as is like her just doing her politics or whatever, and it's like, but like in the end, it's like, yeah, she's the one of the few people who kind of like starts the Rebel Alliance, right? And it's like, am I cutting out?
Yeah, you froze for a minute.
Am I good though? I'm good now.
You're right. You're good now. All
right. But yeah, I feel like there's like this underlaying like I feel like there's gonna be a lot of like loss in this series as a whole as they like continue to try to build up the Rebel Alliance. And
but that is the Rebel Alliance, right? Is they know that they're up against it. They know that for them to succeed, they're gonna fail a lot, and they're gonna lose people, and they're up against this monumental force, and like it's gonna take sacrifice to be able to succeed, and that's why I think this mission is gonna fail. And obviously Andor is gonna survive, but I think most of that team is just gonna be fodder, and that's gonna really like energize him to like really commit to the Rebels. So
yeah, because he still seems kind of on the fence. He still kind of
he seems like he doesn't care, right? He's doing it for the money.
He's doing it for money, yeah. So overall, I don't know. I liked it. I agree, it wasn't the most exciting episode, but there was enough context in it that kept the story moving, and again gave us more about Andor and gave us more about the people he was serving alongside, and got us a little bit more with Mon Mothma too. So
yeah. Well, and we know it's getting a second season, right? So we know that they want to keep some of these threads going probably throughout the second season. So you got to build up a lot of different characters.
3 seasons for this, right? I think that's what the ultimate hope is.
I think it's just 2, but
I know originally they talked about doing 5 seasons for this, and it's like it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I heard it was 12 and 12. It was 2 seasons, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong too. And things can change, as we can see with Disney. Things shift and move around pretty quickly. So
yes, the rest of the episodes will be released weekly, but a second 12-episode season is already in development, which will conclude the series and lead into the events of Rogue One. So I'm
not seeing any comments. Are you reading that?
Yeah. Okay, I'm reading that off Wikipedia. So
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's cool. Regardless, I like it. I like the series so far. I'm excited to see where it goes. But
yeah,
I agree, it is slow, but it doesn't take away from it, in my opinion. So
no, I like I said, I think it's still a good show. I enjoy it, but it was just a slow episode. It was the least compelling episode so far for me.
That's fair. I definitely would agree with that. It's kind of like the first slow down point of the season. Yeah, that middle episode. Not moving super quick, but I mean, Well, still got like 7 episodes, so Yeah, we got a ways to go. Yeah. Werewolf by Night or She-Hulk? Word. Let's do them in order. Werewolf? She-Hulk. No, right. She-Hulk. Let's do She-Hulk. I love this episode. I think it's the best episode of the series. I will agree with that. Yeah, I feel like last episode was really good, and this episode is even better, and I wish this would have been the series. Like, I think if they would have cut out like those 3 or 4 middle episodes, I think it would have been a way better show. But see, I'm getting the it's the things that you're liking about this and the stuff you're not liking about this. It's kind of like the obvious thing. It's what a lot of people are saying is like they don't want the like ones about Jen's life. They just want like superhero-y shit. You know what I mean? And it's like
I don't
I
mind the
know
stuff about Jen's
I know
life when it's compelling about Jen. Like all the stuff in this episode about her and Daredevil, or her and Matt, like romantically, I was into that. Like they had massive chemistry between the two actors, and like I was compelled by that. Like I don't mind that stuff, but it has to land. Like the comedy for me wasn't landing. The side characters wasn't landing. Like I don't care about her friend that was in one episode's wedding. Like that whole episode to me was just completely throwaway. Yeah, like the whole Titania thing. Like I didn't like the character. I didn't find her funny. I didn't find that
we
whole
gotta
episode. Was
kind of pay off with Titania next week, right?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume so, but I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, me neither. Maybe she'll turn into a red She-Hulk.
Well, you got to think that that's what they're like heading towards. But
they definitely hinted at, didn't she? She had some kind of wordplay about red in her talking to the camera this week. So,
but like, see, even those, like her wall break of like talking to the camera, like I thought all those landed in the earlier episodes. I thought they were really hit and miss. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this episode was funny. Like I liked the whole leapfrog thing and how useless he is as a hero.
That was really funny.
Just failing constantly, and like her having to like kind of represent him, and Matt Murdock just wiping the floor with her lawyery ways. Like I thought that was super great. I mean, anytime you can get Matt on screen, like he just fucking heats up everything.
I gotta say that as much as I like Daredevil darker and not so light, it was pretty fun to see like a more comic accurate version of Matt. Like even when like as Daredevil, when he was like, jumping off the buildings and doing all that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's cool to get that, because we never got that. Even when he was in costume and kicking ass, we never got like that acrobatic side to Daredevil, really, right? Like, we didn't see him like do off buildings and like, swing away with his billy club and shit like that.
Yeah, no,
so
I agree with you. Like, I mean, and they still kept like a hallway fight that like it wasn't like brutal in Daredevil levels, but it was like he was still smashing people's face against walls and hitting them with his clubs and stuff. Like it was enough that I was like, all right, this is all right. Like I could handle this. I wish it was a little more violent, but I like his comedy chops. Like Charlie Cox just is awesome. He's just put him in everything. I love him.
I love him as Matt a lot. He's really, really good as Matt.
And like I said, like him and Jen's like chemistry on screen were just like, oh man, keep them together. Put her in Daredevil's the show. Like she's awesome.
Yeah. I wonder what this means for Karen coming back now.
Well, I don't like. I've never seen if that was confirmed or not. Like, I don't think
it was confirmed. I know the guy who plays Foggy is rumored to come back, or maybe
like that's what I was just gonna say. Is Foggy even supposed to be in the show? Or
I think Foggy's supposed to be in Born Again. But
I mean, I would hope so. I think
as long as we don't have to like have big storylines about her. Like, I didn't find her compelling enough as a lead, but I did like her as like a third wheel to her and to Foggy and Matt. Like,
I like her. I don't know. I mean, like, I liked when she was like doing the more investigative stuff in like later episodes where she was kind of like, strong enough where she was like, you know what, I'm gonna investigate this on my own. Like, I think keeping that dynamic is interesting. I don't know. I don't know if she fits in the show. Like, it depends what they want to do with the series, right? Like,
yeah, totally.
I could totally see them saying like, oh yeah, like just name dropping her as like, oh, Karen's living in Florida now, and like, she's saying something like, oh, she went off on her own, doing her own thing, and then like, maybe if Daredevil gets a season 2, we bring her back in as like a side story or something. But
the thing is like they don't need to explain away anything, because I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but like watching this makes me realize that that character is not what we saw in the Netflix. Like,
no, they've already said that this is in a season 4.
They're literally not the same in any capacity. Like, they're just maybe a retelling of that character, but like it's not like
I mean, I don't know. I think it's wrong for them to say like that stuff didn't happen. Like, I want it to count because I think that show's really good.
Yeah.
But also, I can understand them not wanting to have to pick up storylines from that and saying like, "Hey, we have to finish off this part of that story or whatever." Like bringing back Bullseye or something like that. Like you don't, or Elektra. Like you don't necessarily need to do that.
Bullseye is rumored to be coming back too. The guy who played Bullseye too.
Well, that'd be great because I think that like where that left off with Bullseye, I was like, "Oh, this is super interesting." But like, do you bring back Elektra? Do you make that a dynamic of like, oh, he's dating Jen and now Elektra's back in the picture? Do you bring back Stick? Like, I don't know.
The way I look at it is they're not going to explain anything they don't have to. So it's like, sure. I feel like they're going to just do whatever works narratively for the story. And if it outbeats what was said before, then like, that's just a given. So I just wish they would just be more open, like, and just say it, because it's just like, to me, I don't buy that that's the Netflix guy. Sorry, but he's just like happy and like, like it's such a dynamic shift. Like they're literally two different personalities.
But they could also do it as like the first episode of Daredevil kind of explain that away very easily. Of like, this has been a time for peace for me while I had a life before that was very dark and brutal and whatever. And like the Avengers came in and took care of business and I didn't have to be that guy anymore. Like there was bigger fish to fry than what was going on in Hell's Kitchen. Like, Thanos came into the picture and so on and so forth. And like, I got to kind of lay back and let some of the bigger heroes take care of the things going on in the world or whatever. And like, that's why he's kind of more at peace and like could focus back in on being a lawyer maybe rather than a hero. Kind of explain it away that way of like, I left that life behind. I don't want to be that guy anymore. Like I want to enjoy parts of life that I never got to and move on.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't buy that it's the same, which like I said, I don't care that much. Like I like the Netflix version of Daredevil, and I feel like to me that's the Daredevil that like that's gonna stand out in the test of time. Like for me, I feel like that's gonna be the one that like ultimately stays in my head as like the best representation.
Yeah.
But again, it's nice to see like an acrobatic, yeah. And it's cool it's cool to see of like a costume that's a bit more risky in terms of like not being so grounded. I like
that's what I was gonna ask you, is what you thought of the costume.
Yeah, it's almost the same as the Netflix one, just red with yellow in it. I like how She-Hulk's like pretty daring to go with the ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, it's great.
I'd love to see him go to all red though, but yeah. But it's fine as is for now. Like it's another one of those ones that like it works with the tone of She-Hulk. But like,
in the Marvel universe,
definitely wouldn't work with the tone of the Netflix show. Like, imagine that thing showed up at the end of and fought. You couldn't. It needs to be more colorful to fit into the Marvel universe. Yeah. I mean, everything has color. It's not as dark and brooding. They're in this mode right now. Marvel MCU is where they're like not shying away from like ridiculous costumes, right? And it's like, I mean, that costume's not ridiculous, but that color scheme is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
but I have a feeling that by the end of his series, that won't be his costume.
No, I don't think so either. I think they'll ditch the yellow and red pretty early. So, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I like I said, I really like Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock and Daredevil, so I was totally open to it.
Totally.
And yeah, if I'll take whatever Charlie Cox they're willing to give us. So I'll take all that Cox.
You should have a podcast called that. All that Cox.
All that Cox. Did you like how it ended?
That's what I was going to say. Is we got to talk about how it ended. I thought it was an interesting choice. I mean, they're basically making her the villain now.
Well, I think they're trying to prove that whole thing, like Bruce was trying to explain at the beginning, is like once they look at you like that, like it's
can't go back.
Yeah, and now it's like it makes me wonder what we're in for next week because. Do
you think we get I know the actor that played him is dead now, but fucking what's his face from Hulk?
Did you hear that rumor? Oh, so William Hurt is the
William
actor.
Hurt.
He was playing Agent Ross.
Right.
Thunderbird Ross. And did you hear that rumor that there's like serious rumors going around that Harrison Ford is going to be recasting? Yeah. They're going to recast him as Thunderbolt Ross or whatever.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
It's a weird pick for me too, but I don't know. I also don't really care. The thing is I actually quite liked William Hurt as him.
Oh, so did I. I thought he was perfect for the character.
I thought he was really good.
Can't resurrect him, sadly. So
no, I would love to see. I don't know if we'll see another Hulk next week, but I really hope we see who's behind all this, and I really hope it's Leader. Like
I think it'll be Leader. I think Mark Ruffalo will be back in the last episode.
I don't know. He is kind of in another planet, so it's hard to say. But
I think they have to touch up on that storyline at least of like why he left or what's going on there.
I feel like that might be an after credit.
Yeah.
Kind of setting up where we're gonna go with the whole Hulk thing next.
So I assume that Daredevil's gonna help her out of this somehow, like be a part of this last finale.
I hope so, but who's to say?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I liked seeing her angry and like hulking out. Like I wish that would have been more a part of the series of like her not being able to control her anger necessarily when she's Hulk. Like I know that she has control of her personality, but it would still be nice to see her get, flip out every once in a while and smash it.
Well, in this case, it makes me wonder if she does. Like at that whole end bit, the vibe that I kind of got was that she raged out and couldn't stop herself.
Yeah,
that's like the vibe I got from the scene.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. And then you set up World War Hulk.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see what they do with the character, and it'll be interesting for the tone of the last episode. Like, is this going to feel like a different episode? Like, can she come down? Like at the end, I don't know. I couldn't really tell if she like kind of came down or if she was still like raging out. So like, do we start next week with her like being back to normal and being like, whoa, what the fuck did I do? Or is she like next week? Do we start next week and she's all like,
I hope she's throwing cop cars and smashing all kinds of shit. Yeah. They saved the entire budget of the series for this last episode, hopefully.
I'm curious to see what happens. I'm curious to see if we see Abomination again. I'm curious to see.
That'd be good too. Bring them back.
Yeah.
Do you see how they slyly slid in the Sokovia Accords thing?
I did. Didn't they say that it's no longer relevant? It's no longer active?
They turned it over or whatever in court. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but that is it's done. It doesn't exist anymore. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense. They might bring it back somewhere down the line and do another round of Civil War 2, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely think we'll get Civil War 2 eventually.
Yeah, me too. They did it in the comics.
Yeah. So. I don't know. It was great. It was a great episode, and I'm excited for the finale. I hope it's great. I hope we get a cliffhanger. I hope we get a credit scene. Give me more Hulk.
I agree. Also, what the hell's going on? Didn't they say that every episode had an after credit scene? Why does they not have them anymore? I don't get it.
My personal opinion is I think they cut them.
Interesting. Just seems like a weird thing to say and then not carry out on, because I'm pretty sure they actually said there's an after credit scene after every episode.
I feel like I remember reading that as well before the series started, and the first 3 had it, and then they just stopped.
And then they stopped.
I don't know. My assumption is maybe they realized that the tone of the show wasn't exactly landing somehow or something like that. They thought maybe these are too quirky and weird to even really be worth putting in, or maybe they're just under a massive amount of crunch to get all the CG done, and they just said, "Hey, skip these, and we'll just focus on the show."
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was great.
Good app. Good app.
Werewolf by Night.
Okay, so we haven't talked about where I told you I liked it. I didn't ask you if you liked it because I figured it'd be more fun to just talk about it. But So
Yeah.
I kind of thought if you could get past the black and white, you would enjoy it. But I felt like you were gonna struggle to do that. That was what I thought you were gonna be. That's where I thought you were gonna land. Where did you
You're
land?
exactly right. I didn't like it at all. There's elements, I guess I shouldn't say I didn't like it at all. There's elements, I like the idea of it, but like I would have done it very, very differently. It's not my cup of tea. I don't like black and white stuff. It was nowhere near gory enough or brutal enough. Like if you're gonna do black and white, in my opinion, like at least make like the blood red or something like that. Like give it some splash of color here and there, and it just didn't work for me. It's not my cup of tea.
Interesting. I definitely thought I assumed you wouldn't be able to get past the black and white, but I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was super, super different, and like I thought it was like an intriguing chance that they took on something different and something that again felt very not connected to the greater world, but I loved the dynamic. I liked the characters, and I liked the dynamic between, was it Jack, the guy who turns into the werewolf, and Elsa. I thought the werewolf looked great in the scenes we got to see like a good view of him. I know it wasn't always the best opportunity to see him well, but I thought Man-Thing or Ted looked really good.
I agree with that. I like the look of Ted. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's like all that stuff I kind of agree with. Like I didn't think it was like poorly acted. I like that it was like a different take on the MCU. It's definitely like a standalone weird, thing that doesn't really fit with the rest of the MCU. Like all that I applaud, because they need to do more stuff like that, and they need to take chances like that. It's just like, for me, they really set this up to be like a very Hunger Games-esque, like, hey, we're going to be hunting this monster, and like I wanted like to see this monster like eviscerate some of these people, and like I know it's Disney Plus, and I know they got to be more family friendly and everything like that, but before it aired, like there were so many reviews that were like, oh, this is the most brutal thing in the MCU, and like,
well,
I mean,
technically, I mean, it's not really wrong. It's just not like PG, or TV-17. Like, it's just, I always have to laugh at the people who expect Disney to give us like these like bloodbaths. And just like, it's never going to happen. Even when they say something's dark, it's never going to be that. It's never going to.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted out of it. Like, I would have loved.
It's not going to be a bloody. It's not going to be like Deadpool 3 is going to be tame Deadpool. It's going to. There's no way. They need to leave it open for everybody that can get into these movies.
That's a very big bummer then, because that's where I would have went with it. I would have went, if you're going to keep it black and white in like 30s, 40s era horror, then I would have had like the blood red, and then I would have just had like, walls being splattered with blood and people getting eviscerated and decapitated, and like really bring up the action, really bring up like Elsa's like I don't know, choreography to make her like a real fucking huge badass in it. Because I was really compelled with like the idea of like the bloodstone and everything like that. Like I like all that like mythos of the story, but like I didn't think it was like long enough. It just didn't really go. Like 45 minutes and it's over.
I definitely feel like it could have been a bit longer too, but
yeah, it could have been like a 2-hour movie for me.
But again, I guess I say that almost every week about every show.
Yeah, we always do.
Yeah, you always want a bit more, right? Especially when you're so used to seeing these characters in like movie settings and stuff, right? So it's like you get 30 minutes and you're like, well, I could have got another 30 if you guys wanted to, right?
Totally.
So I heard that the reason why, I don't know if it's true, but I heard that the reason why this didn't end up going as long as originally planned was because the outfit, the costume that the guy wore, the werewolf guy wore, was like really, really uncomfortable and hard to like work in, apparently. So they had to like cut a bunch of story out of him because he was having
that's the problem with doing like actual practical costumes and everything, right? It's like it looks way better than a lot of CG, but I mean, that was the problem with like the original bat suits and stuff like that. It was like these actors can't fucking move in these things. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You know. So, I don't know. Like, it looked great, but I don't know. I would have went way more R with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't really deny that, because I mean, if it was darker and, you know, a bit more violent and a bit more graphic, I would have been all about that. But
yeah,
I also knew better than to expect that. So
sure.
And like I said, you know, it was technically more gruesome than what we've seen in the MCU. Someone gets their arm cut off, you know, the werewolf slashing people and like blood splashing out. Like, I know, again, I feel like the reason they didn't go red blood was because it would kind of underdo the bloodstone being the only thing of color in it, and I feel like that really signified an importance. And if they all of a sudden the blood's all red too, then it maybe tones that down a bit. I don't know.
I think it would have made more sense. Like, the blood's the only thing that's red in this world. You know, I don't know.
And the bloodstone, but yes,
I don't know. I like, my thought at the end of it was like, if they plan on doing this again next year, or like every Halloween, my idea for it would be like next year set it up as like a vampire thing, like Dracula-esque, of like 30s, 40s Dracula wannabe, like horror type thing. Dracula's the main character, black and white. Keep that whole motif, but then at the end have Dracula die and Blade walk through, and like Blade's there fucking killing vampires and whatever, and make it like colored all of a sudden, and then that sets up the Blade movie that's supposed to come out like a month later, but probably will get delayed. But
that'd be a smart idea. That'd be a good way that they could utilize the guy, I can't remember his name, Herschel something, that's playing Blade.
Marshall. I can never say his name, but yes,
that guy. So
yes.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they did something like that for sure. But I liked it. I thought it was cool. I liked that it was different. It was.
But then you could have like Elsa be part of Blade too. Like, I don't know if she's supposed to be or not, but I think like bringing that whole universe together of like the Bloodstone, a vampire hunter, you know, a werewolf, like make this like weird B team of horror, you know, part of the movie. And I think it'd be really cool.
I'm trying to think of where Elsa ultimately showed up. She showed up in Next Wave. She showed up in something else too, something important. I'm blanking on it. But yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was just like different, and yeah. Once we got into this, they kind of got into the story right away, and I was like, oh, that's a kind of a cool idea. And then it was kind of like the monster that they're hunting is kind of like the red herring, you know. It's like everyone thinks that's what is going on here, but really the bigger thing is that one of the people hunting is actually a monster themselves. And
yeah, well, even when the monster Ted things, like Arn went through the bush to grab, and then like they're friends and they're like hugging basically. It felt very Taika Waititi at that moment.
Yeah,
it felt like I don't know. I liked that like aspect of it, and like I would love to see them team up in another movie as like friends, like, you know, doing something. I don't know.
Yeah. But, yeah, I definitely think we'll be seeing more of both of those characters down the road. So
it was good. It was good in that regard, but I just would have went way, like, I wouldn't give it like a 3 or anything like that. Like, it was like a solid 6 for me.
All right, fair.
I wouldn't watch it again. I'm glad it exists. I like that it did something different. I think Michael Giacchino, you know, directed it and scored it, and I've liked his work forever. So, no knock there. I thought it was well acted. I thought you know, everything about it was fine. It didn't go far enough for me. It should have been longer. It should have been bloodier, and I think it would have really really stuck me in if it was.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like I said, I think, I mean, if I could choose, I would love to see it a bit darker too, but you know, it is what it is.
But that's my biggest fear with Daredevil too, right? Is this 16 episode or 18, whatever the hell it is, Daredevil season.
Is at least we have a good Daredevil to fall back on. If that, again, it's like I said, it's like I fully anticipated to dislike this version of Daredevil because I knew going into this that we weren't going to get Netflix Daredevil because I know that that's not what they're doing. And I'm pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed the Disney Matt Murdock versus the Netflix one. Like I still prefer the Netflix one, and if I could have that going forward, I would prefer it. But I ultimately I liked what we got with She-Hulk.
How do you do Blade, not R?
What's that?
How do you do a Blade movie that's not rated R? Like I don't know how you can do this stuff without like vampires are gonna have blood. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to have bloody scenes.
Yeah.
Like you can't shy away from that. I'm sorry, but you can't do a vampire movie with nothing.
Twilight did.
Oh, I never seen Twilight, but I'm just saying, like to me, that has to be an aspect. Yeah, I need Blade R. Like I want Daredevil R. If you bring back Punisher, it has to be R. Like I'm sorry, but
I'm telling you, just get yourself accepting of the fact that they're not going to be. Will they be maybe a touch edgier than like Endgame and like Infinity War and regular MCU stuff? Yeah, probably, but not.
But then make like a dark MCU, like make a adult MCU aspect of it. Of like, hey, this stuff is a part of the MCU.
That you cut out a certain percentage of your viewership, and like.
But not every movie has to be a $200 million movie. You can make a $60 million movie that's good, and it will make its money back if it's good. Like look at Deadpool, man. Deadpool was rated R. It made a fuck ton of money.
I know.
Like there's people that are going to go see.
That it's not that's not the case. I'm just saying that it's Disney. They're going to do what they do, and that's what they do. They don't do violent, bloody, gory movies. They just don't, and that won't ever be the case. So,
but then don't put it out from Disney. Put it out under another name. Like you own every studio on the planet now. You don't have to put it out.
Convoluted on what's MCU and what's not, right? Like,
well, you can still have the Marvel stinger.
What's that?
You can still put the Marvel logo in front of it and make sure that everybody knows it's part of the MCU. It just doesn't need to have the Disney name. So parents at home go, hey, it has Disney in front of it. I let my 5-year-old watch this, and there was decapitations and sex. Like, like just don't call it a Disney movie. Then put it out as 20th Century Fox or whatever. And they're not Fox now, but 20th Century. Like, I don't know. There's the characters within the MCU that have to be R. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry, but you can't put out a Blade movie and a fucking Ghost Rider movie or any of this stuff and not have it rated R.
You're gonna soon watch those because that's what's gonna happen.
Did you see Keanu Reeves wants to be Ghost Rider?
I did. That would be awesome.
I'm in. Do it.
I wouldn't be against that.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. It sure would. It sure would. What else? Do we got anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I like they're trying different things. It felt very. This is what I wanted to say too. Is it felt very Moon Knight to me, very standalone in its own world, doing its own thing. Yeah, I don't know. I hope this all ends up tying together. Like I hope Moon Knight ends up part of the MCU, and I hope this werewolf stuff all.
Well, there was at least a mention of the Avengers in Werewolf by Night at the beginning.
Right.
But yeah. More so than Moon Knight, I guess. But yeah, I think they all will ultimately land in the same world. So, but it makes me wonder again, like with this one, is this an alternate reality? Is this like set way before the MCU chronologically? Is this happening at the same time? Like,
well, that's the problem they're going to end up having, right? Is like if they start like Blade being a era piece, like if Blade is set in the 70s, then tying it back into the MCU, you gotta make sure that everything chronologically fits if it all ties together. And it's like you start getting really risky with timelines and stuff when you're trying to fit things in before things and after things and making sure this character doesn't reference things that happened before it and like all that stuff. So
yeah.
They're going to need somebody with a giant Bible of, like, this is the way everything works and where it goes and the timeline of everything, and this is where this falls, and they got to have that shit squared away, and it's going to only get more complicated the longer this goes. So
For sure. I think that will... I mean, I'm sure there is already that, because...
I'm sure there is. I know there is for Star Wars, so...
There's so much, so, like...
Yeah.
You just have to have somebody who's like, that doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You need a nerdy person that has followed everything and knows everything and like like Kevin Feige, but like has the Bible of it, of just saying like, no, this narratively doesn't work. You're gonna have to change that. You're gonna have to move that here. This can't be set there. Like, so, you know, but I'm excited for it. I'm like I said, like even the whole Wolverine thing. How do they make that Hugh Jackman work in this world? Is it part of a different Earth? Where does that fit in? You know, they're gonna have to answer all these questions sooner than later. So.
Yep. Yeah. Or not.
Yeah.
I mean,
or they'll just.
I think I touched on this in an episode prior, but like the hard part about trying to fit all that stuff in is then trying to explain where they were with a lot of this stuff. And it's like, as soon as you go down that road, it's like you completely take the focus off of the story. And it's just like, so, you know, I feel like we'll get to a lot of points where they're not going to try to explain away things that don't make sense. It's like, this doesn't make sense. So here you go, whatever. Like, because just what are you going to do? You're going to spend half your movie trying to figure out why they weren't at the fight with Thanos, you know? Like,
well, I mean, they've already crossed that bridge, right? I mean, you could already say that about characters that are going to exist. Like, yeah. I mean, if Blade is set in the 70s, why wasn't he a part of that? Like, or was he, and we just didn't see it? Like,
yes.
You know, could they do a really cool tie-in where he was in another part of the world, you know, like basically like Hawkeye is as Ronin, you know, like doing shit in Japan or something like that, and then that Blade was off somewhere else, you know, Transylvania, fucking killing vampires and shit. Like, who knows? I'm sure they can always work out something narratively.
Bloodless vampires.
Don't do it.
Maybe they'll do what the animated series did with Morbius and make them suck out their plasma out of his hand.
Don't do it. I beg you, don't do it. I've always had a thing.
Vampires, they don't go for your blood, they go for your plasma, and they suck it out through their hand suckers.
For some reason, that really grossed me out right there. I don't know why. I just don't like it.
PG-13.
No, I've always loved vampire shit because I was always such a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, and yeah, if they fuck up vampires and Blade and shit, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
I'm sorry. Trying to soften the blow now.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
What are you doing this week on Whip?
Oh, I have Machu Toy coming on. It's the Machu-verse. It's colliding. He's a toy photographer and videographer, I guess. And yeah, he's a nice dude. We chat every once in a while, and just thought it would be fun to. He went to New York Comic Con this weekend, so I'm excited to shoot the shit with him about that. And I don't know, we just have a lot of similarities, and I think he's actually going to be staging some photographs while we talk. So
great.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to actually work on something. I'm going to try in the next couple of days to get something put together to actually work on, because I'm finishing 2 projects right now. So
nice.
So yeah, and
great.
Should be good. So, I'm excited to talk to another Machu.
Hey Machu, what's up? Oh, nothing, Machu. How are you?
Our thing has always been hashtag we're not the same person. This is gonna finally put
That's great.
To bed. We're laying that hashtag to bed.
Good. Yeah, so definitely go over to Matt's YouTube channel and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Smoke Media and at Customs by Machu. And, you know, you get the podcast on any podcast service of your choice. Everywhere. I posted a thing earlier this week or last week. It's almost on every possible thing you've ever. There's services I've never even heard of that it's available on. So
I know. I saw the list. I was like, what's that?
Yeah, I don't even know. It was an option, so I just took it.
You took them all.
Yeah. So should be everywhere. Yeah. And next week we'll talk about the finale of She-Hulk and Andor episode 6.
Hey, easy to read names.
Hey, what's up?
What up, man? You're catching us right as we leave.
Right as we leave.
We were an hour early tonight. Sorry. Hey, next week we can go back to normal time, I think, because I'm training my specialist to do donuts tomorrow. So hopefully next weekend she'll be able to do them for me.
Nothing like training on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, got no one else. I was like, we could wait another week, but why? Let's just fucking do it.
Just do it, man. Get it over with.
I don't want to keep working Sundays at 5 a.m. That sucks.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. 5 a.m. sucks.
Sure does.
I see it every day on midnight. So
You sure do. You sure
Yeah.
do.
All right. Well,
All right, sir.
thanks everybody for watching, and we'll catch you on episode 86 next week.
Peace out.
See you, buddy.
Ciao.